Don't use strength is probably the worst advice I've ever heard in jiu-jitsu. And what's funny is you never hear this from other good coaches in other grappling arts like wrestling, judo, sambo. Like, I can't even imagine going to my wrestling coach in like middle school or high school or something and being like, hey coach, I think I'm using a little bit too much strength in my rounds. You think I should dial it back a little bit? Dude, they would look at me like I was absolutely insane. They might slap me. But I think for a lot of people, there's this mythical idea of like jiu-jitsu, like, you know, little guy beating the big guy. Like, I think a lot of this stems from Royce Gracie in UFC 1, you know, little guy beating the bigger guys. But ultimately, that was because he had better technique and he knew how to grapple and they all didn't. It had nothing to do with him using strength. Royce Gracie 100% used strength in the UFC throughout his entire career. He popped for steroids at one point. Why do you think Royce Gracie was taking steroids? Do you think it was because he was trying to improve his technique with steroids? No. It's because he wanted to get stronger. And when people give this advice, they don't mean anything bad by it. I just think it's a fundamental misunderstanding and it can actually do a lot more harm than good. So for example, especially for a beginner, if you took two beginners, right? You told one, okay, hey, you're not allowed to use any strength. I just want you to use these techniques. Okay, then I'm going to show you in these positions that we're going to go through. And you took another guy, you never mentioned that. You just showed them the techniques, showed them the positions. Okay, did the exact same training. Let's just pretend they're both completely identical people, right? I would almost guarantee you the person who thought they were allowed to use their attributes can guarantee you they're going to do better than the guy who thinks he's not allowed to use any strength at all. And on top of that, why is strength the only physical attribute that's bastardized in this way? Have you ever heard someone use the exact same argument for flexibility or cardio or speed? Hey, you're really fast. Stop being so fast. Your cardio, stop using too much cardio. Stop using too much flexibility. I've never heard the exact same arguments for these attributes or other attributes. And I think a lot of this actually comes from people getting frustrated at having difficulty with people that are really strong, like beginners. Like maybe they're like a purple belt or a black belt or something. They roll with someone who's like brand new, but they're just super big and athletic and strong and they can't get out of their side control or something like that. Could just stem from insecurities surrounding something like that. But I can guarantee you, all the best people in the world are exceptionally strong. Whether they got that strength naturally, because some people are just born freakishly strong. I've rolled with people who have never lifted weights in their life and they're just gorilla strong. Or, which is much more common, they got it through the weight room and through grappling itself, because grappling will make you stronger. And to add to that, I've never rolled with someone that was really good that was not strong. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that too. And I really think a lot of this stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of what strength is or where strength is applied or when it's applied. So when people say don't use strength, a lot of times what they're thinking is like grabbing someone's neck and squeezing it really hard, or trying to bench press someone off of you in bottom side control, or squeezing your legs together really hard when you're on bottom and closed guard. A lot of these things are actually just bad technique, bad efficiency, and bad timing. When you do a hip bump sweep, you are using your core, your rotational power to develop that twist. You're using your glutes and your arm and your hands, your entire core to get yourself off the ground. That is strength. When you have a triangle, you are squeezing your legs together. You are using your adductors and your core to squeeze that triangle. When you are inverting, it requires a certain level of flexibility, but with flexibility requires mobility, the ability to maintain strength through that range of motion. Inverting takes strength. Barambolos, these things that you think you don't traditionally think about require strength, or in a strength context, they all require strength. So really when they say don't use strength, it's just a misunderstanding of what strength is when it's applied. And what they really mean is not being efficient with their strength or being efficient with their energy. You need to know when to use your strength and how to use your strength through the appropriate pacing, tactics, and techniques.